Imagine this. You walk into a room wearing what you believe is a flawless replica. The stitching is perfect. The logo is exact. The serial number checks out online. You feel confident. Then, a billionaire glances your way. Not a stare. A flick of the eyes that lasts less than 3 seconds. And in that glance, you are completely, utterly seen through. Not with judgment, but with a kind of bored recognition, the way a native speaker hears a grammatical error they don't even need to correct. How is that possible? What did they see that you can't? The secret isn't in magnifying glasses or authentication apps. The secret is that the ultra-rich don't see luxury. They feel it in their nervous system. They don't inspect objects. They read a silent language of energy, context, and intuition that fakes can never, ever speak. Today, we're cracking that code. This is not a guide to spotting bad stitching. This is a masterclass in the invisible, tells that scream fake to someone born into the ecosystem of real wealth. By the end, you will understand why a billionaire's gut is the most powerful authentication tool on Earth. Most people believe spotting a fake is a forensic exercise. It's about checking serial numbers, counting stitches per inch, weighing the metal. That's what the aspiring rich do. The actual rich operate on a different frequency entirely. For them, real luxury is the air they breathe, constant, ambient, and assumed. A fake isn't an incorrect object. It's a wrong note in a symphony they've heard since birth. It creates a dissonance so immediate, it's almost physical. They don't look for fakes, they sense outsiders, and the object is just the loudest clue. This is how they do it. The first tell, the sin of effort. Real luxury is calm. Fake luxury is anxious. This is the fastest, most brutal filter. Billionaires are surrounded by real luxury not as an achievement, but as a default setting. Because of this, their instinct is to distrust anything that tries to be seen. Loud, branded monograms that scream for validation, over-designed hardware that gleams aggressively, silhouettes so exaggerated they look like cartoons of wealth. These are not signals of status, they are flares of insecurity. A billionaire sees a bag plastered with logos and doesn't think expensive. They think, who are you trying to convince? Real luxury whispers. It uses subtle embossing, not shouty prints. It favors a hidden clasp over a gaudy buckle. It understands that the ultimate power move is not recognition from the masses, but recognition from the only 3 people in the room who matter. When an object seems desperate to prove its value, it has already failed the first and most important test, the test of ease. The second, tell, the memory of materials. Your eyes can be fooled, your hands cannot. Fake luxury today is visually impeccable. A camera can't tell the difference. But a billionaire's sense of touch is a forensic database. They have held crocodile skin tanned for 18 months. They know the cool, dense weight of 18-karat white gold versus the lighter, duller feel of plated steel. They've felt the gossamer weight of vicuña and the liquid drape of single-needle silk twill. When they pick up a fake, their nervous system files a mismatch report before their brain even processes it. The hollowness of a hollow link bracelet. The plasticine feel of coated canvas pretending to be leather. The tinny click of a clasp instead of a solid thunk. Fakes fail at the molecular level. They use cheaper alloys, polymer cores, synthetic stiffeners. A billionaire doesn't need to analyze this. Their fingertips have a memory that their mind doesn't. The material doesn't just feel cheap, it feels wrong. The third tell, the beauty of inefficiency. Machines make perfect things. Humans make interesting ones. Mass manufacturing, and by extension fakery, is obsessed with optimization. Perfect symmetry. Flawless, identical stitching. uniform finishes. But real, handcrafted luxury is gloriously, expensively inefficient. A billionaire recognizes the signatures of human time, the slight, imperfect curve of a hand-rolled bag edge, the subtle variation in the stitching on a bespoke shoe because a human arm got tired, the almost invisible hammer marks on the back of a watch movement where a finisher perfected a bevel by hand. These flaws are the fingerprints of authenticity. When something looks too perfect, too uniform, it raises a red flag. It feels sterile, not storied. Fake luxury shouts, "Look how precise we are." Real luxury whispers, "Look how long this took." The fourth, tell, contextual illiteracy, the deadliest mistake. This is where replicas fall off a cliff. Luxury is not an island. It exists within a whole solar system of behavior, history, and situation. Billionaires are fluent in this context. Fakes are not. They spot the dissonance instantly. A rare, dressy Patek Philippe Calatrava worn with an athletic tracksuit and sneakers. A formal, structured Hermes Kelly bag slung casually over a shoulder at a beach club. A Kelly is carried in the crook of the arm, always. A vintage Cartier crash watch, a surrealist art piece, worn by someone who clearly doesn't know the story of the Salvador Dali painting that inspired it. It's like hearing someone use a complex poetic word incorrectly. The object might be real, but the usage is fake. It reveals the owner doesn't understand the culture, the etiquette, or the story they're trying to buy into. For a billionaire, this is the most embarrassing tell of all. It's not a product failure, it's a social failure. The fifth tell, the protest of provenance. If you have to talk about it, you probably don't belong to it. Someone wearing a fake or someone new to real luxury often feels the need to explain. They volunteer the story. It was so hard to get. I have a contact at the boutique. Do you know how much this costs? They pre-authenticate their own possession because they sense, on some level, a need to defend it. In a billionaire's world, provenance is assumed. The story is boring because it's standard. They don't discuss where things came from. That's private, mundane logistics. Real luxury doesn't need a PR agent. It carries a quiet, unshakable confidence that needs no verbal reinforcement. The moment an object requires a narrated biography, its credibility evaporates. The sixth, tell, the aging paradox, real luxury ages. Fake luxury deteriorates. A billionaire's relationship with time is different. They own heirlooms. They've watched calfskin develop a honeyed patina over 20 years. They've seen rustique leather soften into a second skin. They know how sterling silver tarnishes and how to polish it back correctly. Fake luxury doesn't age, it breaks down. Patinated leather that's actually painted on and starts to crack and peel. Vintage gold plating that wears off in sharp, ugly patches. Hardware that corrodes, not oxidizes. When a billionaire sees a vintage bag that looks uniformly artificially distressed or a watch with age spots in all the wrong places, it's an instant giveaway. They know the map of honest wear. Fake aging looks like a costume, not a life lived. The seventh, tell, the scarcity spectrum. There are two kinds of scarce. We can't make more, and we won't make more. True scarcity is a material fact. There are only so many flawless emeralds of a certain size, only a few hides of Perosa's crocodile belly per year, only one master artisan who can do that specific enamel work, and he's 78. Fake luxury and many legitimate mass luxury brands traffic in marketing scarcity, limited editions of 10,000 pieces, drops, hype-driven waiting lists. A billionaire sees this for what it is, a clever trick to manufacture desire. It feels commercial, not craftsmanlike. They are drawn to scarcity that is a byproduct of excellence, not the goal of a marketing meeting. The eighth, tell, the body language of ownership. Watch how someone interacts with their luxury. This is perhaps the biggest tell of all. The fake/wary owner adjusts the bag constantly, checks their watch reflection in every window, places the bag on a chair, not the floor, handles it with excessive reverential care. Their body language screams, "This is precious, and I'm aware of it every second." The billionaire drops their Birkin on the floor of a restaurant, scratches their royal oak on a doorframe and doesn't flinch, wears a $100,000 watch to garden. Their body language says, "This is a tool for my life. It is durable and replaceable." The billionaire isn't being careless. They are being comfortable. They know the object can be repaired or repurchased. Their wealth has removed the anxiety of ownership. The overprotectiveness of the fake owner reveals a psychological fragility, a fear of loss that a true billionaire simply doesn't possess. The ninth tell, the missing relationship. For the ultra-rich, luxury is often a relationship, not a transaction. They don't just buy a watch. They commission it from a watchmaker they visited in Geneva. They don't just order a bag. They have a dedicated sales associate who knows their family, their travel schedule, their tastes. That object carries the memory of a conversation, a handshake, a shared understanding. Fake luxury is sterile. It has no lineage, no human connection, no story of its own beyond theft of design. This absence of soul is palpable. The object feels orphaned. A billionaire, often without conscious thought, can sense when an item exists in a vacuum. The final, uncomfortable truth. They're not spotting fakes, they're spotting you. Here is the core of it all. The billionaire's 3-second glance isn't a technical analysis of your bag. It's a holistic scan of your cultural fluency. The fake bag is just the most obvious symptom. It's your posture while wearing it, the way you walk into the room, the vocabulary you use, the references you make, the jokes you laugh at, the places you name drop. Luxury objects are merely the punctuation in the sentence of a wealthy life. If the grammar of the rest of the sentence is off, the punctuation is assumed to be wrong too. They don't see a fake Rolex. They see a person trying to perform a role for which they haven't learned the lines. Real wealth isn't a costume you put on. It's a culture you are born or initiated into, a culture of implicit knowledge, unspoken rules, and deep, unshakable calm. So can you learn to spot a fake like a billionaire? You can learn the tells, the weight, the wear, the context. But you cannot replicate the lifetime of immersive exposure that turns those tells into instinct. The ultimate lesson is this. In the highest echelons, luxury is not about proof. It is about absence. The absence of anxiety, the absence of explanation, the absence of effort. It simply is. The billionaires who spot fake luxury instantly hold the final unassailable advantage. They have nothing to prove, and therefore, everything becomes clear. In a world shouting about status, their silent discernment is the most powerful flex of all. They have moved beyond the object. They judge only the energy surrounding it. And that is something no factory, no matter how precise, can ever replicate. If this glimpse into the unspoken rules of real wealth changed your perspective, like the video and subscribe for more decodings of power, money, and influence. Comment below. What's the most surprising tell you learned today? Or what's a luxury myth you used to believe? Because in the end, the most exclusive luxury isn't for sale. It's the quiet confidence of knowing, without having to check,